Hello and welcome. Today we're going to light a scene. And the scene we're going to light is this one. It's a wonderful teapot spinning, my favorite teapot. It contains coffee. I'm a tea drinker, but coffee is better. And we got the floor here also, so we're going to light that. So we just start looking here. We have the glued in. Then we got init display, set size, create window, display function we got up here, and then we execute the main loop. So in the display function we have int x and z for the floor tiles, enable depth buffer, which probably shouldn't be here, to be honest, should probably be in its own init method, and let's call the init method. There we go. We are adding a rotation. We're clearing out the color buffer bit, which is the what we have drawn on. We are double buffering, so that's one of the buffers were colors, right? And the depth buffer bit, which is really the Z buffer. I'm cleaning out that also. We're setting projection mode. We're loading the identity matrix. We set the frustum with left, right, up, down, and 1 from us to 50 from us is the viewing distance where we can put objects. We do a translation and a rotation to look down at the scene. So backing out from the teapot a bit and looking down. We selecting model view to modify our models in their local coordinate space. Load identity twice, not necessary. Rotate with rotation and draw our teapot. Let's draw our teapot. Load identity again. We translate back a bit for some reason. We translate down. Translate down the floor underneath the teapot. And then we draw the flooring, which is just 32 times 32, so in this case minus 16 to 16 in the X and Y axis. We select the color depending on which tile we are on, so they just alternate like a checkboard. There we go. We do a GL begin quads. We set our color and we draw our squares. So now let's put in some lighting. Up here I already prepared with a bit of light data. So I got the white, red, green and blue and black. And white is all ones and black should be all zeros. Except the last one here, because that one should also always stay at 1. It's used when blending later. We won't do that in this video. It's an alpha value. First we need to do is enable lighting. And as fast as we enable it, our scene just disappears. It's totally black. I can see the scene because it's just dark gray. I can see, but on the encoded video you won't be able to see anything. It will be just pitch black. So we need to enable the light. And we should do that in initialize. We will do it up here instead. Every time we will jump into this function. Because we're going to modify it a bit and change it easier to find up there. So now we have enabled light 0. And normally you only have access to like 8 of them lights, and that's why you went to shader later. So later versions using shaders. I'm not going to use shaders, I'm using the older version. So if you want to learn about shaders, maybe I will make some videos about shaders later, but not now. So now we have a light in our scene from the default angle from the light and the default kind of light. So let's actually specify our own light. Light 0, position, and we're going to put it, I think that's a good position. Let's see if it works. And here we need to specify which light we are working on. And what we want to specify on it, we want to specify the position. And then we add in the position. And we need to modify the light also so we can see that something actually happened. We're going to modify something called the diffuse. And we're going to say red. So basically we're creating a light with this position with a red light. And there we go. Now we have a lit teapot that's red, and it's lit from above, I would say. We have directional light. So we got our object. I'm not going to draw a teapot. I'm going to draw a cube. I don't know how to draw a teapot. And we got directional light coming down. Much like the orthographical view instead of a frustum projection that we went through in the last video. So this is directional light. And directional light normally just from the sun. So we have a sun up there and we have rays that are parallel to each other, and when they're hitting the object, they're hitting it in a parallel way. And if we start program again, you can see it hits from above, and that might be what we have specified in our position here. I specify this X and Y is from above. The 0 in the end specify that this is a directional light. So we can change it. So now it's coming in from the right instead. We have another type of light. Oh, we have a teapot here. Yeah, I can draw directly on this one. I don't need to. so we have now the directional light that we have lit this teapot with. There's something called a spotlight that just shines like a sun, I was going to say, but it shines in all directions, not like a sun. This works like a sun there. And a spotlight can also have a cutoff. So you say just going to shine a certain angle here, that's called a cutoff, and a specific direction. So the spotlight has a position and a direction. So let's put this directional light back. It shines down on our object, and let's put it to blue because there's a sky above, and it shines extremely blue on our object here. So let's add in another light. Now we need another position. I'm going to select another directional light, so we're going to shine from below. Need to set that we're going to set this on the light number 1, and we need to enable light number 1. There we go, and we're going to shine green across grass. And now we have our teapot lit from beneath and from above. And let's add in one of those spotlights. So we're going to have a third light. And this time we're going to put the light at an actual position. let's say 5, 5, 5. And then we have to specify that this is a positional light. So it's 0, 1 here in the end. And then we also need a direction. And the direction here would be -1, -1, -1. Might have to move the position around a bit. We will see where I get this directional light hitting the teapot. Then we got the cutoff. That we're going to start to set to 0. It's default 0. Cutoff is from 1 to 108. If you set 0, it just nukes it out. So a little bit unsure about that, but okay, let's put it to some value, 90. And then we add in our positional light. We have a little bit more things to specify here. Spot direction and spot cutoff. And we have the direction and the cutoff. And the cutoff is just the values, not the vector, so away with the W on that command there. And we're going to have a red light. Feel like I missed something, and now we got our floor here showing up. Remember in the start here, before we did anything, can actually turn lighting off. And we do that, we turn lighting off. Let's turn that off. Had the floor. So something happened with that floor. And it was meant to mess up with the floor. So let's remove the positional light. Don't see the floor. Why not? Should be there. It's hard to see. Okay, it's cause of a silly mistake in my floor here. We have a light coming in at an object, so we got a light. Hits an object, then it should bounce away. And if the incoming is I degrees, then it should bounce out at the same angle. That's how light bounces to your eyes. But OpenGL doesn't really know this surface. I mean, it knows it should draw a polygon here, but it doesn't know if it's a flat surface or whatever it is. It has no idea what to bounce on. It should bounce on that angle, on this one. It has no idea. So we need to help out the lighting calculations by putting a normal here. And that has to be 90 degrees to the surface we want the light to bounce on. And in this case, we have a normal pointing the wrong direction, pointing in the plane. So we got the normal here that's probably pointing along the floor. So it's just pointing totally wrong direction. Need to fix that. We need going to add a normal. And if it points up or down, doesn't really matter, it just needs to point away from the plane. So there we got the floor lighting up. I think the spotlight is a little bit further away than I expected it to be. And here we got an issue with this object and why you might use other lighting than the 1.2, because you see the effect on it. It doesn't look very nicely here. I'm just going to increase it just to get rid of that. And then we have our teapot in a spotlight. We don't really see the green though, so that's a little bit annoying. Maybe if I do lower it, let's see if I get a highlight. Still no green though. Turn off the spotlight. Ah, that's odd. Where's the green? Where do we have the green? Should be shining from beneath. Didn't we get that to work? Really, really odd. Let's turn off all lights except the first one. Very blue. Very blue indeed. Let's turn on the green light. Okay, now I know. Need to set the parameter on the correct light. There we go. Have a spotlight. That looks very bad, but we do have a spotlight. We have green underneath, blue atop. Now let's increase the cutoff on the spotlight, so it shines a bit on the floor also. And there we go. Maybe try in between. Could change the direction, that's probably a better idea. That actually works. Ignore that it's jaggy here, that's because of this kind of object. So it's green from beneath, blue from the top, and this floor should be checkered marked, and it's not. Let's try to figure that one out. So there we go. What I needed to do is to set what color this floor can reflect. So I needed to comment out the GL color. And I needed to specify that a GL material of the floor on front and back drawn polygon. So polygon going clockwise and anti-clockwise, since I don't know which one I draw the floor in. So GL front and back for diffuse lighting coming in. You had diffuse lighting coming in. Should reflect everything. So this material is basically white. And the other material is red. So we got the white and red floor, but we only got blue light shining in from above, and that's why it doesn't show up as white. Change that. And you see we have a white and red floor, but also notice that we messed up our teapot here. So when we modify material at some point in our program, it modifies, it keeps that information when it draws the other object, of course. So we need to specify our material for our teapot also, and it's also white. Now we are back on our teapot, that being lit green from below, blue from above, and the spotlight as green. We have a checker background, flooring that's also lit by blue from the top. The green is nowhere to be shown on the floor, since it's a little below the floor. And then we have the red spotlight. Could probably get the floor to be green if we modify the normal of the floor. So if it's pointing the other direction, it will reflect the light coming from the other direction. So it reflects the light coming from below. So now we have a floor that more or less looks like it's emitting green. And we got the green shine on the teapot. The teapot is blue since light from above. And we got the red highlight on the pot itself. Now the floor also do not reflect the red spotlight because of the normal is just pointing down for the light coming from below, not from above. So we would need to change the spotlight to go through the floor from beneath if we want a red highlight on the floor. Let's change that back. There we go. We're using diffuse now. Diffuse is light that comes directly from a light source. You have also light that's scattered, that hits something, then goes to your object. This is called ambient light. And ambient light is calculated as it comes from all directions. So we can add ambient to our light. Let's say yellow, because why not? We need yellow. And we're going to need add in it on all lights. Don't need to do that, but going to do that and just put it to black to specify that no, this light does not shine out any ambient light. So that's if you want to have environment, like if you put an object on grass and everything becomes a little green tinted, then you have an ambient light that's green. If you want out on the ocean and everything is blue, then you have an ambient light that's blue. So that's how you can think about that one. I've noticed that it's just useful to have on one light. It makes no sense to have an ambient light on multiple lights. Could be used on a spotlight maybe, but nah, no. Yeah, just add it on one of the lights and ignore the other ones. Just turn it off on the other ones so you know that you don't use it. There we go. Oh well, that's lighting, so enjoy.